Divine greetings, Akila Texture here, and I am Conscious Chakra, a divine energy channeler, and I transmute energy through soul consciousness. So, here are 3 ways to generate love right there in your heart chakra. So, before we begin, let me remind you to take a deep breath. Before we do each 3 step, let's just take a deep breath right now. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And remember, as we take each step, we're going to take a deep breath to solidify that, to process that, to breathe in the good and release what does not serve us. So with that said, let's jump right into it. The first step is to remove judgment and condemnation. Judgment and condemnation is something that does not work well for the heart chakra. It is one of the things that hinders the heart chakra. Having judgment blocks you from seeing love within yourself and others. So I'm not just talking about judgment to others. I'm talking about self-judgment, self-condemnation, judgment towards others, condemnation towards others. These things keep negative vibrations on your heart. It won't allow your heart to open, because if you think about it, with each judgment, you're closed to something. You're condemning someone. You shouldn't do that. You're closed. It's not acceptance. It's like a rejection. I don't like what you're doing, even if you mean well. Even if you mean well. When you put that out there and, oh, I don't like this, and we don't allow people to be free to be themselves. I know there's a lot of things we don't disagree with, but there's a way that we have to go about it. There's a fine line between judgment and, well, let me put it this way. When I say good judgment, I mean not being judgmental, is what I always say. And for you to understand the difference, just think of the word mental. You don't want to be mental about your judgment. And I mean mental in a negative way, not good mental. You don't want to be mental about your judgment. So whenever it turns into you're kind of being mental about it, meaning you have some kind of bias, you have some kind of preference, hang up, you being mental about it. You're being in yourself, in your mental about it. And so you're applying your mental to the judgment. So judgmental. There's a fine line between being judgmental and good judgment. And that's a whole nother topic I would have to do. But understand that there's a fine line. And just real quick, I can tell you that judgmental is more biased. Good judgment is discerning. When you have a discerning spirit and you discern something to be different, but you still have an acceptance of it in your heart. That's the fine difference. So try to watch your thoughts and feelings and your vibrations that you send out. So that is step 1, checking yourself and making sure what are the things you have judgments and condemnations about. Check your preferences. Check the things you say you like and don't like, and so forth. And people that you say you like and don't like. Things and situations that you say you like and don't like, and why. Check it to make sure it's not being judgmental. It's not coming from a judgmental place. So once you remove the judgment and the condemnation, you open up your heart just a little bit more. You open up your heart to loving yourself, accepting yourself, loving others and accepting others. And that works very well for the heart chakra. So that is one way to generate love. Now let's take a deep breath. Before doing so, let's try this little quick exercise. Think of something real quick right now. What's something you don't like? Think of your judgment about it. Think of your bias that you may have about it. And just release it in love. Just say, I don't agree with it, but I accept it. And don't just say it. Mean it from your heart. So let's breathe that in and release out what does not serve us, the negativity that doesn't serve us. So remove the judgment, breathe in. Feel the love and acceptance settle into your heart. Step 2, heal your grief. Grief is it's one of the heaviest things on the heart chakra. Judgment is not good for the heart chakra. Grief, even worse. Grief is one of the main heaviest burdens on the heart chakra that will hold it down, dead weight, sink to the bottom of the ocean. Grief. So we have to work on healing our grief. Notice I say healing and not removing, because a lot of times people say get rid of it, remove your grief. I got to get out of this grief. And you end up falling into a place of denials. And that's not good. That's not truly working on the grief. When you just sit in denial, and you think it goes away, the grief doesn't go anywhere. It sits there, probably in your subconscious. Your subconscious is holding it for you, and it's still all up in your vibrations. Your heart chakra is not functioning at its optimum prime. So you have to, if you're feeling any grief, believe me, I know it, I get it. I've been through many grief. I had at least 4 close deaths. So I understand what it's like. And one was very, very difficult to get out of. So I do understand, but you have to heal through it. I would probably have to do a whole nother thing on healing through your grief, but just understand that it takes healing through it. But what I can say now, if you haven't gone through the 4 steps of grief, then you haven't truly healed. So you have to first, at least, I know this is another couple of steps in there, but just to show you how you know you get over grief or how you've healed, your first step is going to be like denial, anger, then bargaining, and then acceptance. Once you get to acceptance, then you have truly healed, and you can lighten your load. And grievance is not just about people that you've lost. It's not just loved ones that's passed away. You can grieve a relationship. You can grieve a job. You can grieve just missing anything that you deeply miss. You grieve. That's grief. So look at that. Look if there's anything there in your heart that you find that you just is lingering in your head, and you keep saying, I miss this, I miss that. You know, you end up turning into Lot's wife, a pillar of salt, looking back. So removing, let me not say remove. I got to watch that word. It's not removing, it's healing. Heal through your grief. That's step 2. So let's take a moment. Let's think about something we miss. Just real quick, grab something. Allow yourself to see that in due time you will come into acceptance. You don't have to actually be there. Just accept that acceptance is there in love. And let's let that love come in. Take a deep breath. In with the love. And out. Now step 3. Big pill to swallow. Step 3 is forgiveness. This is the big one. This is the one a lot of people have problems with, and I probably have to do something on forgiveness separately as well, because that's a whole nother thing to go into. But we have to have forgiveness, and this is the key. Forgiveness is the key to unlocking your heart to fully, like, if you want that thrust out of all of these three issues that are not issues, but out of all of these 3 things that I just gave you, forgiveness is the one that will give your heart the most thrust, the most boom to your heart chakra to generate that love. If you need let me put it to you this way, if you need a quick fix boost for your heart chakra, do forgiveness. Rather than the other 2 ways, go straight to forgiveness. If you want a quick but you have to really work on forgiveness. You can't just say, I forgive something, because your vibrations know if it's true or not. It will be vibrating in you according to your subconscious, according to what you're holding on your heart, not what you're thinking about in your conscious phase of mind. So you have to make sure that the forgiveness is really lifted. And I'm talking about unforgiveness of self as well as others. So not just people. There are so many things that we hold ourselves in some type of unforgiveness. A lot of times we think it's other people. I can guarantee you have more unforgiveness for yourself than for other people. Other people is just a reflection. Life is a reflection of you. So them reflecting on you, it just projects onto them, because there are things you haven't forgiven in yourself. Anything you haven't done in yourself, it's going to be hard for you to extend it to others. So, and we'll talk about that. I'll do that in the next video. We'll talk about forgiveness. So with that said, we have to understand of going in our heart and removing this forgiveness. And it's about, let me give you the key to that, just so you know. The key to knowing that you're in forgiveness is when you have forgotten the feeling that you have with that person. If let's say that person did something to you and you can't go around them, it just bothers you, and you can't even look them in their eye, you can't say anything, then there's no true forgiveness. Even if you've said to the person, I forgive you, if you find it hard in your heart and in yourself, if it tugs on you a little way, then you have not truly forgiven. And even with yourself, if there's something you're still battling with yourself, then there's something there that you haven't forgiven about within yourself. So these are the things that we have to go in and do. And when you do pluck that out, pluck out that unforgiveness and send out nothing but love, whether it's to yourself or towards anyone else, you get a big boost of heart generation. Talking about generating your love, a big boost of a love generation. Like your heart will be like, so with that said, since I just did that, you know what we're going to do next? Take a deep breath. So let's just imagine something right now, whatever it is that you find offensive to you. Somebody did something to you, or you are having problems with something in yourself that you do not like. Just kind of look at that right now and imagine you loving. See, it takes love to give, it takes love to generate love as well. So imagine you just loving. You don't have to understand it. You don't have to truly be there yet, but just see yourself with all intentions in your heart and in your soul, loving yourself and loving that person with the energy of the divine, not of your might, but of the divine. The divine energy flows through you and you channel that out and just send it out there with their name. Send whatever it is you have out there with whatever it is that you feel. Just send out the love and see yourself letting it go and giving it forward. See yourself giving the love forward. So imagine that thing now, just as I've explained. Take a deep breath in, open up your heart, close your eyes, see your heart opening, and just take a deep breath in, breathing in the good and letting it out. Letting out what don't serve you. It don't serve you. You don't need it no more. Goodbye, goodbye, let it go. Bygones be bygones. And if you do these 3 things that I just told you, I was going to say 3 steps, but it's 3 ways. It's not steps. You don't have to do it in any particular order, but these are 3 ways that you can generate love. You can do 1, or you can do 2, or you can do all 3. Some people may need a combo pack to say, hey, boom, I need to generate some love. And as we're moving into this love frequency, 5D love frequency, y'all, this is needed very much right now. I know I spoke about the solar plexus season, but we're also in a space and place energetically, collectively, where we need to be sending out love. So at the same time as you're generating love, practice it. Practice breathing it in, letting it out. And when you do, imagine yourself receiving love and giving it out. Imagine your heart chakra opening up. It's a wheel. Imagine a green wheel opening up, and just you're sending out love. You're emitting love, and you're also taking it in. And that is how we generate love. That is 3 ways, and there's obviously more, but I'm just giving you 3. So faithfully, you were able to accept and receive the love that I give to you from my heart to yours. Namaste. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Each one, reach one, teach one. If you don't know where to start, start in that heart of yours. Shine your light from the inside out. And that's my heart to you. Peace, love, and light, God bodies.